It's always tough when it comes to discussing new Pokemon Sword and Shield information. I try to be as cautiously optimistic as possible, but I'm still always left with disappointment. Gigantamaxing looks like fluff, the graphics have barely been improved, and the gameplay looks so subpar and underwhelming that I'm finding it hard to be invested at all in these games. But why? Why do I think this? Surely I should appreciate the improved visuals. Surely I should appreciate Gigantamaxing as being a new feature for Pokemon. No? Well, let's explain why I am continuously disappointed with Pokemon Sword and Shield. We all knew this was coming. Thanks to a very reliable leak, it was inevitable that this feature was going to be revealed. All we knew was that it was going to function the same as Dynamaxing, whilst also changing the appearance of certain Pokemon. Personally, I was hoping for a bit more than this to separate it from the simplicity of Dynamaxing, but sadly, this doesn't seem to be the case at all. They grow big, they change form slightly, and their attacks are buffed. That's it. And honestly, that just isn't good enough for me to warrant this as a big, innovative Pokemon feature. I've come to realize how standard of a feature this really is. It doesn't feel like it changes the game. Not really. I don't really get what makes this so different from the likes of Mega Evolutions or Z moves. Sure, it functions differently with the fact that it only lasts 3 turns, but the basic idea and concept is one we've been experiencing over and over again since 2013 with the release of Pokemon X and Y. The Pokemon Company seem to be adamant on pushing this as a big new feature of the game, but if this is the biggest thing they have up their sleeves, then I'm sorry, but I'm not impressed. I do have some faith that there's more to this game than they're showing us, but at this current moment, I can't give them too much credit for such a minimalistic feature like Dynamaxing. This was something I was particularly looking out for when watching the new trailer, and I was sadly let down by the fact that barely anything has been touched. And I know, graphics don't make everything, as I hear from many people. But I'm sorry, they are an important feature of a game. It's one of the most defining features that gets you invested in the worlds that these games are trying to convey. If they fall up short by a huge margin, then I'm going to notice, and it's going to put me off the games. With that said, I've seen people comparing certain shots of the trailer with older footage and claiming there's improvements, but with a quick Photoshop edit, you can see that there's really no changes here. A slight change in hair, a change in the time of day. These changes are so minor, and it's the definition of nitpicking that these people are claiming we're doing with the graphics, and I don't find that fair at all. If you can point out positives, no matter how minor they may be, then we can do the opposite. It's that simple. I was hoping, really hoping, that the E3 demo was a very early build, but from the new footage we've received, it seems that this may not be the case after all. These games will finish development a few months before release, and that's not far off at all from now. So can we really expect some more huge changes? I don't think so, but if I'm wrong, I will fully own up to it. I just have a sneaking suspicion that I'm right, but we'll see about that in the future. It may be too early to judge here, but there's really just nothing new that distinguishes these games from any other Pokemon titles. It all looks like really basic stuff we've seen in every other Pokemon game, despite the fact that they've made the jump to home consoles. If they're saving some revolutionary new feature for later on, then fair play. I'll judge that when it's revealed, and I hope for the best with it. But with the information we have received so far, it looks really basic. I remember when Pokemon Sun and Moon were revealed, everything they had to show felt really fresh to me. the Island Challenge, battling totem Pokémon, the entire idea of Ultra Space, and so much more. But it looks like they're going back to traditional Pokémon with these games, and that upsets me a bit. I know Sun and Moon were controversial games, but for me at least, I really enjoyed the vibes that they gave off and how ambitious they were with crafting everything in the game around the region of Alola. No gyms, no focus on the typical evil teams, and a more ambitious story. I enjoyed it all. I hope that as we get closer and closer to the release of these games, they start to show off that ambition that I feel Sun and Moon sparked. Sometimes I feel bad for having all of these critiques. I'm not setting out just to hate this game for the sake of it, but I'm going to stick by who I am. I'm going to critique flaws when I see them, whether that comes with backlash or not. I feel like it's my duty to do so. And for those who respectfully disagree with me, you're the kind of people I wish we had more of. And as a quick note to show that I don't hate the entirety of this game, I'm really digging the new Pokemon designs like Yamper, and the trainer designs are also really neat. Everything else though, it's just not my cup of tea, and I'll carry on critiquing until these games release. Give me all of the backlash in the world, I don't care, but please, for everyone's sake, respect each other fairly. Thank you.